Hanine Karlberg, Manager Labour Affairs Department from Scania. Yes. And Scania is celebrating 125 years this year. Fantastic. And you also have presence in India and investing a lot of resources into equality, diversity and inclusion activities throughout the employee life cycle. Welcome up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to state that, for me at least, diversity and inclusion issues are essentially about respecting human rights. Now, I know that when you say human rights, one might think that, well, it sounds a bit vague, and the notion of it seems like it's a topic more for the worlds of politics than it is for something that you encounter in your everyday life. But as I think Eleanor Roosevelt once said, human rights and the practices of them are embedded in the small things in life. It's within what happens in a family. It is something that happens between neighbors, and it's definitely something that exists and happens every day in the workplace. So at Scania, we have a long history of working with human rights issues within the frame of our corporate values, and with respect for the individual as one of the strongest core values that we have. And in that is also the notion of equal rights and opportunities, or diversity and inclusion, if you will. Having said that, I know that these issues aren't new in our company, but I must say that since, well, a couple of years ago, we have a renewed focus on these. And it's something that our CEO at the time and our executive board stated, that these issues, it's not, working with diversity and inclusion isn't just the right thing to do anymore. It's something that can actually empower our company, and it's a strong, it can really thrust our company into total new levels of success and help us towards fulfilling our strategies in 2020. And that is to become the leader in sustainable transport solutions. You know, moving from simply or only being a truck manufacturer to actually being a solution provider within the transport industry. That's quite a big shift. But before I go in and tell you more about our strategies in this area and what we've been up to lately, I'd like to share with you a short film on this topic.
My journey in Scania started as a mechanic. I've been a mechanic for 9 years. Then my bosses saw some leadership in me, and they lifted me up to the team leader. So I've been a team leader for 4 years.
Skill Capture is a concept we're developing in Scania to work with diversity and inclusion. We're starting up with workshops in management teams to find out what we are and how we need to improve, and also to spread best practice in the organization.
I think the best part of working in Scania is that Scania really respects work and life balance. For example, before I went on maternity leave for my second kid, I could set up a development plan together with my manager. We set up a goal and we talk about how to reach there together. So when I'm back from my maternity leave, I became project manager today. I think the best part of my job in Scania is I got to go to a lot of different places in Scania, and sometimes I'm talking to Asia in the morning, Africa in the afternoon. I think it's really fun.
The point of Skill Capture is, of course, that Scania wants to continue being a very, very successful company. And to stay successful, we need some really good people doing their very best. That's the point.
While we're putting up the groups, we look for team players and competence. It doesn't matter what your background is, It doesn't matter where you come from, but as long as you have the team player and the competence, then you are the right person for Scania. My goal is to become an electronic engineer within Scania one day.
So, as you said, Anna, we've been putting in some resources in this and have been for quite some time now, but it really isn't a project. This is about continuously improving our corporate culture and making sure that we tune our ability to capture and harness the diversity of skills and know-how and perspectives that are in the company and all employees and in our employees, all of them. As we said here in the movie, we've been for the past year creating a framework for Scania's work on diversity and inclusion called Skill Capture. And the first step of that is conducting awareness workshops with management teams across the globe to create awareness on how a diverse workforce and an inclusive culture can really have an impact on our business outcomes. And I truly believe that these workshops are essential in succeeding in this journey that we're embarking, because what I've found is that we've had a lot of projects with, but we're not getting the results as fast as we can, as fast as we want them to come. And I believe that this has to do with every individual that is involved in this. The change journey really has to start on an individual level and not be something like a corporate policy coming top-down initiative. That just, I don't believe, will work. It has to change on an individual level, and we have to see what role we play in this. Every one of us has to think about what diversity and inclusion means, how it is connected to our business, what role we play in it, and our role in the system as well. And ask ourselves, what are our blind spots? What does unconscious bias look like? And how does this affect our preconceptions? How does these issues affect our decisions in everyday life? Without having done that, I think the change will take too long to come. It is coming, but it might take a bit longer than we want it to. Conducting this workshop is, we have a quite ambitious program. Just starting up, we have conducted about 15 workshops till now, starting with top management and executives. And what they do is that they also address and create local action plans. And here I believe there is a success factor as well, because actions, I mean, we're a global company, we're present in over 100 countries, and for actions to be relevant, they need to be local, because the challenges and the prerequisites are extremely local. If the actions aren't local, they're not relevant, and if they're not relevant, they're not likely to be executed. So that's a success factor, if something. But from these locally defined action plans, we're hoping to also aggregate and find denominators, common denominators within these action plans, which will enable us to find the global priorities and relevant KPIs and measurements to follow with those, and also develop our global processes and tools. And most importantly, and also I think the theme for this session is that we are really hoping and seeing that we find good practices and good stories to spread and share, to make sure that we leverage from all the great work that is being done out there. I mean, like we said, in India, you have cultural diversity and have had for ages. That's something in Sweden we can learn from. And here in Sweden, gender diversity has been on the agenda for quite some time. And that's something that we can export to our company in India. And having said that, I would like to wrap up my 8 minutes of fame here by sharing a good example from another short movie from my colleague in India. She sent me that a couple of days ago.
Working in Scania bus production here in Narsapura. I am one of the 75 women working in Scania.
We have just inaugurated our new bus factory, and currently we have 286 employees. Out of that, 26% are women.
I am working in Scania Commercial Vehicle India Private Limited from 10 months. I have trained in all activities in Scania and I have got welding training, and at present I am working in welding section as a welder.
And we don't make difference between women and men.
I had joined to Scania last 10 months back, and I am feeling very proud of that. We are the first girls team who are working in shop floor in bus department.
Now our big challenge is the white collar area, because we need more women as supervisors and as managers, and that we will focus in the future to get more women in the whole production.
I feel good working in Scania.